Hello guys, it's Mark, welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm going to be talking about things to consider before renting your first apartment. Just for fun, I'm going to be giving you a quick tour of my apartment. So the first thing to consider is the application process. You're going to pay an application fee and the landlord will run a background check on you. The landlord can look at things like your income, your rental history, your credit score, and your criminal background. This is to ensure that you will be a good tenant. The landlord can ask for things like a few pay stubs or some sort of proof of your income. They want to ensure that you will be paying your rent. Having someone as a cosigner can help you get approved, especially for your first apartment. If it is your first time renting an apartment, I would recommend going with someone experienced in renting an apartment. This isn't an all-inclusive list, and going with someone experienced can help you look for things that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise. Now, on to the next thing to consider, assuming you've been approved, is the upfront cost. You won't just have to pay your first month's rent, you'll also have to pay a security deposit, which will be 1 to 1.5 times your monthly rent. Depending on what you're going to be moving, you may have moving costs. If you have friends and family that will help you with the move, it may not be a big deal, but it's something to consider. If you're going to take your pet feeder lice with you, assuming pets are allowed, you will probably have to pay one or a combination of a pet fee, a pet deposit, and monthly pet rent. Depending on where you're renting, you may have to pay for parking. Another thing to keep in mind is storage. You may or may not have to rent a storage unit, but keep that in mind. Now for the recurring cost. These should be specified in your lease, so make sure you read over that carefully. I was looking online, and I was reading that you should spend no more than 30% of your before-tax income on an apartment. Honestly, I think that is way too high. Of course, you will have to pay your monthly rent, and then, depending on your lease, certain utilities. Some utilities include water, electricity, and gas. You should also consider renter's insurance. You will also have to pay for internet so that you can smash the like button down below. You will also have to get Do people still have cable? There are still millions of people that have traditional cable. You may also have to get cable. When looking for an apartment, you really want to take location into consideration. Drive or walk around the area at different times of the day and see if you feel safe. Check out what is nearby. If you're using a website like apartments.com, you can scroll to the bottom and they usually have a list of things that are nearby. You also want to take your commute to work into consideration. Another thing to consider when looking for an apartment is whether or not you're going to want roommates. Having a roommate or roommates will help you save money if you don't mind living with others. Having a roommate is not for everyone. Honestly, I can't see myself having a roommate. The length of the lease is also something you want to consider. The monthly rent is usually cheaper for longer leases, but I wouldn't do anything longer than a year if you're in a new area. You can learn a lot about an area in a year, and you don't want to feel stuck. Another thing to consider are your wants versus your needs. You may want a lot of things for your apartment, but if it's your first one, I would suggest going with a cheaper option. For example, I wanted 2 bedrooms, an island thingy in the kitchen, and a decent sized bathroom. I don't have any of those things now, and because I've experienced that, they are lower on my want list. In my opinion, it's easier to add things from your want list in your next apartment than it is to remove them, so keep that in mind. One thing I will recommend is renting an apartment with major appliances. Now, most apartments probably have these, but make sure you have a stove and a refrigerator. It would also be really helpful if you had your own washing machine and drying machine. Even if you don't have them in your unit, it's nice to at least have them in your building. Another thing to consider is the furniture. Getting furniture doesn't necessarily have to be done right away. Make sure you look for deals and don't go overkill like I did. My couch and dining table each seat 5 plus, and usually it's just me and my girlfriend sometimes. Now, I got deals on this furniture and I can own them for many years, so it's not something I regret. Another thing to consider is what the apartment looks like in person. I had my very first apartment when I moved from Texas to Utah for my summer internship, and I was having a hard time finding a place, so I wasn't really picky about it, but see for yourself. Keep in mind, this was for a summer internship and I wasn't really picky about it, but if you're going to live somewhere for more than a few months, definitely look at it in person. By the way, I only lived in that apartment for about a month and a half before I started living with some really cool people I met in Utah. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please smash the like button below, comment if I missed anything, and subscribe for future videos.